On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Ancestral light.
Stay strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough black talk of you. With Brother Tad, Sister Kate, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tis the fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain, bound together like a chain. Thorough black talk of you. With Brother Tad, Sister Kate, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, Sister Marcia, and Brother Blak Smith will be joining us shortly. Family, happy Juneteenth! Let's go! Happy Juneteenth to everybody. We're going to get into the history of it. We also going to talk about some other things that's popping off. And I'm proud. I am proud of my ancestors. And I hope that you are too. So we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about it. I want you to think about your ancestors, you know, how far you've come in your journey in researching your own family history. We're going to talk about some great things in Black music tonight. We got to get into it because this is still Black Music Month. So we got a lot to discuss tonight also. In the 9 o'clock hour, we got our brother, Do the Knowledge Radio's very own Knowledge Born Our Live, will be joining us to give us an update on a new book series that he has coming out. And that's very, very important considering that you are now having Black study courses removed from college campuses and elementary, junior high, and high schools. So it's very, very important that we teach our very, very own. So let me give some shout outs real quick. Sister Brooke on the check-in. What's happening, sis? What's happening? What's happening? A lot of stuff taking place. A lot of events took place today around the city, and I'm sure where you all are located, I'm sure there were plenty of Juneteenth events that took place, but some of them were on kosher. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Sister Farnessa, what's happening? What's happening? Love, peace, and reparations. You already know what it is, family. Yes, we changed the background tonight. It's Juneteenth. We brought the ancestors up on the Brooklyn Bridge because if you know, you know. Literally, an African burial ground lays on the Manhattan side of the Brooklyn Bridge. So we'll get into all of that tonight as well. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County in the building. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? How y'all doing? Sister Donna, Brother Kerwin, Alabama in here. Heavy family. What's good? What's good? What's good? Sister Aruba 927. Doggy Diamond TV mods on the check-in. Gotta show them love. Man, did Doggy Diamonds do a great piece on Lord Jamar flip-flopping? We gotta get into it. We gotta get into it. Brother Lumumba, Philly in here. Family, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Yes, indeed, an exuberant Freedom Solidarity Day to you, brother, as well. Sister Donna, yes, yeah, we know what you meant. We know what you meant, sis. We know what you meant. Brooklyn always in here heavy. Y'all know how we get down. Brother Kev, South Kakalaki, my Gullah Geechee brother on the check-in. What's good? What's good? What's good? Yes, indeed, Brother Lumumba. You already know. You already know. We're going to get into it. Heavy. Tanisha, what's happening? What's happening, sis? Happy Juneteenth to you. Let's get it. Let's get into it. Before we go any further, Brother Tad will not be joining us this evening. He has some family coming in from out of town. You know how it is. It's Juneteenth. So, you know, people coming in and flying out. Cookouts. You know, did you have the grill popping today? You know, my neighbor had the grill popping today. Went down the block. You already know. It was popping heavy over here. A lot of events, like I said, are taking place. As a matter of fact, if you're in the tri-state area, family, and you want something to do, you know, get a little exercise in and, you know, how that go. Good Co Bike Club is having a Juneteenth, I think this is their 5th annual Juneteenth bike ride. You might want to come and join. I can't play the music because we'll get flagged. But with the meetup spot is Saturday, 10 a.m. at the Brooklyn Museum. There is a workout, as you see, before the bike ride through the city of Brooklyn. It's going to be heavy. Come out with your pro black t-shirts and your bikes, and let's get in the ride. We in at Von King Park at around 3 o'clock. DJs, food trucks, vendors, it's going to be popping. So you might want to join us for the Juneteenth bike ride meetup Saturday, 10 a.m. at the Brooklyn Museum. They all usually pull out like about 12 p.m. But, you know, you want to get in for the early workout, meet up with some folks, get to know some people in your borough, in your city. People come from all over to actually take part in this ride. So I'm looking forward to it. I put in 20 miles today. I'm going to put in another 20 in the morning. And then that ride is 18.2 miles. So don't be discouraged. We ride slow so everybody can ride together and you'll be protected in the streets. So join us Saturday. Good Co Bike Club, Juneteenth bike ride. Sister Marcia, you ready? She says, yes. Africans on the rise. Very own Sister Marcia on the check-in. What's good, sis? How are you? Happy Juneteenth.
Peace and happy Blacktastic Thursday on this fabulous Juneteenth. Let's remember what it's all about and not what it's not about.
Yes, indeed. Sis, did you get a chance to check out some of the events that took place in the city today, or you just laid back and chill?
I laid back and chill. There is one fabulous event that's being hosted at Wall Wilkins Park near me, and I was getting dressed, and yeah, just didn't happen. I'd rather stay in. You are muted, sis.
I feel you because it was hot and sticky today. The heat is just going to escalate in the next 7 days. So I hope you all are ready here in the city. Let us know what the temperature is where you reside. Is it a little bit more heat or is it right on course with, where you from? I don't know. We had 2 weeks of nonstop rain and chilly weather. And then all of a sudden, woof, the heat come out of nowhere. So Sister Marcia, you already know it's summertime, so we're gonna be outside. So for those of you who don't know, I'm cool with. Can y'all hear that? Sorry about that. It's an ambulance going by. But the end of the summer, that is, I'm cool with all the DJs here in the city. And there is going to be a DJ extravaganza at the boat pier here in Brooklyn. So I know Sister Marcia rolling with us, Sister Brooke rolling, and some of my swap sisters, we rolling. So if you want to roll with us, shoot me a message on Instagram and let us know if you want to go, or put it in the chat during our broadcast so I can make a list. You ain't got to pay for nothing. I bring you free events, just like my bike and hike. I give y'all free stuff, free books, all that. So it's definitely a free party, but you do have to bring your own lawn chairs or, your particular alcohol beverage that you want to bring or whatever. Bring your own brown bag. You already know. So if you want to roll with us, the Thorough Black Talk crew, then let me know and we'll make sure that you get in. I have to know before the end of July, not August 1st, end of July. So if you want to roll, let me know so I can put your name on the list, the Thorough Black Talk guest list. So, Brother Blak, you ready? Our BX brother up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Happy Juneteenth. Brother Anunnaki himself. What's good, brother? You?
Peace, my sister. Peace, my queen. Where Mama go?
She had to step out.
I'm going to call out her name until I see her picture again.
No, she's going to go off.
Sister Marma. Anyway, peace, Sister Keisha. I wish Tab was here, but, we'll see him next week again. There she is, Wing Yad. I call her all kind of other names.
The disrespect is coming on.
Hey, Sister Keisha, we never talk about DJs. My favorite DJ, before we get into anything else, is DJ Lance and Kid Capri. Who's some of yours? Matter of fact, who's gonna be at the event that you were just talking about?
Oh man, DJ Tall Guy, DJ Search Scratch, formerly DJ Scratch. We changed his name.
What's his name now?
DJ Scratch. But we will be there. Mixologist, whole bunch of them. DJ Mad Mob gonna be out there. It's gonna be legendary. So again, everybody here on the road with us, you gotta let me know by the end of July if you want to be on the Thorough Black Tour. So, it's Juneteenth. We're gonna get into a little bit of the history of it. And let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. How about that? That's how we do.
Sister Vanessa is greeting me from the outer galaxy.
There you go. You see? That's how you got to reach the Bronx. There is no other way to reach the Bronx than the outer galaxy. So you right on point, Sister Vanessa, because when you go to the Bronx, it's a whole nother world. It has always been that way. you know.
Well, shout out to the Bronx Botanical Garden, because that was a beautiful world. My family and I went out there last week, and outside of everything else, the danger, that was magnificent. We just had such a fabulous time looking at the pretty flowers. And as a gardener and horticulturist learner, it's so wonderful to see how plants from all around the world just thrive in its magnificent. And I truly didn't know all the unique activities that they have at these botanical gardens. So I think I'll be participating in those activities a little bit more.
Love it, love it. Definitely, the Bronx Botanical Garden is beautiful. If you ever take part in the Tour de Bronx bike ride that take place in May, I actually enjoy that bike ride. I didn't do it this year for personal reasons, but they take you throughout the nice parts of the Bronx, and you end at the Bronx Botanical Garden. That is the ending point. And of course, they have music and all of that stuff, once you reach the end. So definitely got to agree with you on that. But don't get too happy, the Bronx. Don't get too happy. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you give them a little bit, Sister Mama, they go too far.
Sister Marcia.
Sister Marcia. You see the Bronx got me acting up. You see what I'm saying?
That is only allowed by one brother. One brother alone can call me that. I'll leave him with it, but everybody else, it's Marcia, please. That's what my mama named me.
That's
she
right.
Enjoyed that name.
That's right. So
okay, I got you.
Let's get into Juneteenth, and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Hold on.
Juneteenth is American history. The day celebrates when the last of the enslaved in the United States found out they were free. That's when Union troops arrived in Galveston to deliver the orders back on June 19th, 1865.
Now, since that day, 160 years ago, much has changed. But so many major issues, difficult conversations remain when it comes to race in America. ABC 13's Brandon Hamilton, is in Galveston with a look at that historic day and the continued push for equality.
June 19th, 1865. Freedom finally landing on the shores of Texas. The terror, the brutality of slavery was over. All slaves are free.
It was right here in Galveston where Major General Gordon Granger and Union soldiers arrived nearly 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation had been issued. The dreams of the enslaved had finally been answered.
So when the Union soldiers came into Galveston, they did not land on the beach side, on the south side of Galveston. They had to come around into the bay. And here at Pier 21 is where many of the ships docked in 1865.
Samuel Collins is a historian with generational ties to the Lone Star State. He's pushed to keep Black stories alive, helping to establish the Juneteenth Legacy Project and highlighting the United States colored troops, Black soldiers who also arrived in Galveston alongside a Major General Gordon Granger.
So after the soldiers docked here, they would have came downtown on the Strand to set up their headquarters. Major General Gordon Granger set up his headquarters at the southwest corner of 22nd and Strand. And from that point, after issuing General Order Number 3, the soldiers moved throughout the city and then further inland into the interior of Texas, where the large plantations were.
In the 19th century, Galveston was the commercial center of Texas. The buying and selling of enslaved people was a vital part of the economy.
Almost 80% of the records show that enslaved people coming into Texas by ship were coming through the port of Galveston.
This particular article talks about Texas and the role that slavery played with.
That part of history is captured inside the Rosenberg Library.
You can see looking out towards the harbor.
From historic city views, slave trade papers.
You can see artifacts and panels talking about Black life in Galveston.
To photos of living quarters of slaves.
Property, so usually a separate house or shack in the back of the property.
All Americans can feel the power of this day and learn from our history and celebrate.
In 2021, legislation was passed recognizing June 19th, also known as Juneteenth, as a federal holiday. A full circle moment for those who've lived in Galveston their entire lives.
Talk to me about the importance of Juneteenth.
Juneteenth celebrates the evolution of our country to a more perfect union.
What do you think we are, if we are, fighting for anything now?
Well, in General Order number 3, it states at the end of the first sentence, all slaves are free. But then in the second sentence, it says this involves an absolute equality. So when you think about the words equality and absolute, we're still marching forward to that absolute equality. Absolute equality does not mean equal results for every human being.
To get that equality, Collins says it's important to make sure the right history is told, no matter how uncomfortable it may be.
I often use the analogy of a green salad. The stories we have been taught are the lettuce and tomato stories. But this history salad includes croutons, bacon bits, olives, pickles. And as we add additional narratives, we add flavor to this history to make sure that all of the history is included.
A flavor with a taste of freedom. In Galveston, Brandon Hamilton, ABC 13, Eyewitness News.
I just, sorry about that, family. I should not have done that. But anyway, I have always encouraged you all to study your own story. Our story here in the United States is very, very unique. It is very, very intriguing. Now, when they said that, all of the slaves were emancipated in 1863 and that the news didn't reach Galveston, Texas until 1865, when General Granger marched in and, let the people know that they were indeed free. That's true and somewhat not true. You had actually Brother Blak and Sister Marcia, that you had Black soldiers who rode into town to let those enslaved persons know that they were indeed free, but they didn't want to believe them because they have been brainwashed that the word of anybody Black, you can't stand on it but for so much. And so they were actually told by Black soldiers that they were indeed free, but did not adhere to that. So, here in the United States, we encourage people to research your own family history. You will be surprised of all of the Black Union soldiers, Union nurses, people who built the railroads and did the road work during the war. Those folks are not often mentioned. One of the greatest historians that I find when it comes to military history, in particular Black people's role in military, would be none other than Dr. Harry Jones. And you can find a bunch of his interviews and lectures on YouTube. It's Harry, Hari Jones. In my humble opinion, peace be upon him, he's no longer with us, but was the greatest historian when it comes to military history in the United States. We had the pleasure of meeting with him several times in DC at the African American Civil War Museum. The United African Movement often, every year, took busloads of people to the African American Civil War Museum in DC. My family, on my mother's side, we received certificates from that museum for our ancestor Stephen Lawton, who fought in the Civil War during that time. So again, researching your own family history, and it was profound. Actually, his role was, significant. In fact, I think it was 2021 during COVID shutdowns. I was picked to give historical testimony on behalf of my family to the Library of Congress. And so my testimony is there. You can see it on behalf of our family and other persons who fought in the Civil War. Brother Blak, your thoughts on Juneteenth and, the celebration of those enslaved Africans?
Profound holiday, especially for FBA people. Really, like, it's crazy knowing the history of this country and, how, even to this day, though it's rare, you still have people that are what we call enslaved. And when we say enslaved, it don't mean that they picking cotton in Mississippi or what have you. It could be an African immigrant that got snuck into the country with a fake passport, working in somebody's house, and they can't go nowhere, and they just basically a slave there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a time for reflection, to think about what some of our ancestors went through and how we're going to be vindicated pretty soon in the near future. And we just got to keep going and teaching the young ones the right way to go. Back to you, sis.
Right on, brother. Right on. Sister Marcia, your thoughts and feelings on Juneteenth 2025.
Well, I particularly am confused that our people still have this stigma that when we tell them information about themselves, they don't believe it. It has to be the man to come and tell you that you're free, that you'll believe that you're free. So me telling you you're free is not good enough. You need that white water to tell you that you're free so that you could believe it. And I think that that's one of the most important cleansing that we need to do as a collective, that when we are speaking to one another, we must trust one another and gain confidence that my fellow brother is not trying to, get me lynched or get me killed or get me whatever under or throw me under some type of bus because they're telling the truth and I choose not to believe. So that whole idea that, even 150 plus years ago, people didn't believe the truth coming out of our mouths. And that still hurts because it still happens till this day. If we go through any conversations that we have, when we tell people this is what's happening, people look at us like these people are crazy. These people are clowns. These people are conspiracy theorists. And then the white man says it. Oh, it's a whole party, right? Now you're having all types of barbecues and liquor flowing and days off celebrating when you could have had your day off. You could have emancipated yourself if you even believed it. But, now since 4 years later, since Biden gives you the day, now it's like, yeah, Juneteenth. What does it mean? What does it mean to the average people? Not our, like Brother Chad says, not our sophisticated audience, but to the other people. What does it truly mean? So yeah, so that's my quick takeaway.
Got you. For us, we've always acknowledged it. So, I think that it's now, as you said, a legal holiday. So now everybody can take off and enjoy in it. Oftentimes, we took off. But I wanted to talk about Harry Jones. I found this clip and I'm going to play this and we'll come right back of Dr. Harry Jones speaking about African Americans in the Civil War.
I would like you to imagine yourself back in 1863 and a recruiting officer like Major Martin Delaney has risen to speak. Noble sons of Africa, if it is freedom that you seek, then come on, boys, let's take a stand in old glory. Then the cause ye are free, we'll write an end to this slavery story. you know they're not talking about the likes of you and me. As the sons of African nobility will proudly stand and fight for our own liberty. So come on, boys, and march on down with me and get your issue of a blue uniform and a gun. And when this fight is done, let it be written that it was our own freedom we won. Now, as for those colored boys they say won't fight, we'll just have to carry them with us from the darkness to the light. We'll carry Liberty's torch across his Confederate South, and we'll smack that old Marcia in his rebel mouth. And the big house will be the first to shout, "Tom, you Negroes are free!" And all will know they were freed by the African soldiers of liberty. So come on, boys, and march on down with me. Then, as free men, we'll take a stand on Old Glory, and in the corner we have free, we'll write an end to this slavery story. One of the best kept secrets in American history is the story of how men and women of African descent helped save the Union and free themselves. On April 2nd, 1865, after a very long siege, Grant was able to force Lee's army out of Petersburg. When Lee's army withdrew from Petersburg, Grant sent a brigade of United States colored troops, which was followed by a number of other regiments, brigades, in pursuit of Lee. Meanwhile, General Grant assigned the 25th Army Corps to capture Richmond, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, the 25th Army Corps, led by General Godfrey Weitzel, was comprised of 32 regiments. All 32 regiments were United States colored troop regiments. According to General Grant's order of battle, it is an indisputable historical fact that American soldiers of African descent captured and occupied the capital of the Confederacy, Richmond, Virginia. Well documented in the official records, well documented in the newspapers of that day. One newspaper out of Washington, the National Republican, their headlines on April 4th, 1865 read, "Blacks capture Richmond." Pretty clear who captured Richmond. One of the soldiers that wrote about his experience in the capture of Richmond was a native of Virginia, born right outside of Richmond, Virginia. His name, Garland White. Garland White, at 11 years old, was sold at an auction in Richmond, sold away from his family to a Georgia planter by the name of Robert Toombs. When Robert Toombs was elected to the Senate, he came to Washington with a young manservant by the name of Garland White. Young Garland decided he didn't want to be any manservant. He escaped via the Underground Railroad to Canada, returned to the United States to attend Oberlin College in Ohio. After Oberlin, he became a pastor in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. He was pastoring a church in Lafayette, Indiana, in December of 1863, when the governor of Indiana, Oliver Morton, began organizing the 28th United States colored troops. Reverend White became a recruiting agent for the regiment, and in March of 1864, he enlisted himself as a private. While a private in the regiment, he also performed the duties of the regimental chaplain. In October of 1864, the officers in the regiment wrote a letter to Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, requesting that Private Garland White be appointed their regimental chaplain. In early November, they got a reply from Secretary Stanton, ordering Private Garland White to be discharged from the U.S. Army Volunteers and to be commissioned an officer in the U.S. Army Volunteers. And he was appointed the regimental chaplain. On the morning of April 3rd, 1865, Chaplain White, Major Garland White, led his regiment into Richmond. As he's marching down Main Street that early morning, in the lead of his column, to the song Battle Cry of Freedom, an elderly woman smiled. She went to a Union soldier and asked, "Who is that young man leading those soldiers?" He looks like my young daughter. That was Garland White's mother. His homecoming, his reunion, after almost 18 years of separation, was on the day he led the liberating force into Richmond as an officer in the United States Army.
So just so you all know, and we have to say this, we fought for our own freedom. We fought and won our own freedom. No one gave it to us. No one gave it to us. Black men, Black women fought for our freedom. Never let anybody tell you anything different. And again, just so you can see, let me move this out of the way. This is certificate of my ancestor who served in the Civil War right alongside Martin Delaney's son, Frederick Douglass' son, Denmark Vesey's son. They all fought for our freedom. Let no one tell you anything different. So yes, kudos to Dr. Harry Jones. There is a lot of lectures and talks that he has on YouTube. I would encourage and employ all of you to check him out at your leisure, and you will not be disappointed. Brother Blak, your thoughts on Dr. Harry Jones?
Very profound, very deep thinker. He sounds like a preacher, or maybe that was his beginnings. I'm no longer interested in Juneteenth mythology. I'm learning more and more every day about it, and I'm starting to appreciate it, even though what Biden did was a trick bag, because when we were really, and you would know this more than anybody, Sister Keisha, as you're fighting for it, people wanted reparations. He kind of diluted the talk about it with giving us that date. And though it's the start, it's not enough. Get that bread up. Give up that guac. Cash that check. All those phrases. You know what I'm saying? And show that you really, they're not going to give it up until they're out of here. And I was going to bring it up later, but I'll just briefly drive by it right now. My man Remedy H, that I always talk about on this show, said that everything is going to change on July 2nd. He didn't go into detail on what that means, but just look at that as a day. I don't do dates, so if you like him, you can look for him as Remedy H on YouTube. I always put him on my Facebook page, so if you guys want to check him out and know what I'm talking about, my name is Basil Medina on Facebook, and you can friend me there. And if you don't want to go through the hassle of looking for him, you can find him there, and he's on my blog all the time. With that, I yield back to you, Sister Keisha.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that analogy and explanation from your perspective. But Sister Pat agreed with you. She said we put the work in, therefore we deserve the reward. Reparations, now cut the check. There would not be a United States if it were not for us, because Abraham Lincoln, he went to folks like Martin Delaney to ask Black people, or to persuade Black people to join the Union Army, because they were getting their butts whipped. The Confederacy was whooping their tail. And y'all don't have to believe me, just research the history and you'll find out I'm telling the truth. But Sister Marcia, your perspective on Dr. Harry Jones's brilliant talk on Garland White in the Civil War.
So I'm going to have to listen to it a little bit more in depth because I am completely intrigued. But I did, he said that when he became chaplain, Garland became chaplain and was moving forward with the troops. And his mother was like, "Is that my son? Is that my baby?" I thought that was so cute, because we must understand some of the separations that happen to our people. And yet a mother always knows her child. A mother always questions, this could be my baby. Is that my baby? So just to know that even after how many years apart, she recognized her son. She may have seen him small and tattered, but now he's a ranking soldier walking into the town. Oh, that made her heart fly into other ways. And this is what our goal is. You know, we're supposed to be children that makes our parents' heart fly in other ways, because we transform, we do things that are beyond their dreams, that they prayed for us to be able to be successful and do. So with that, that's the point that I really took away for right now. And also, I'm so sorry. I was listening to the History Channel. That's like one of my favorite channels, right? So the History Channel today was doing a special on Black military and Black soldiers who fought in World War II, and the amount of sacrifice that those men and women did, that we don't talk about, that we don't learn about in school as little people, so we can have pride in, you know, in our people. That was so amazing. Like, there was this one general, he got his leg like shot at or missile flown at it, and it was beat it up, and he was like, nope, I'm not leaving the battlefield. I'm not leaving my soldiers. We're going to keep on marching forward. And now, you know, 75 years later, they're having all these Holocaust remembrance, 100 years. We got to remember the folks. But yet we don't remember those who served and liberated those people. We can't say their names. Very few of us know their names. You know, individual families know their names, but they don't emancipate those names loud enough so that other people could put those names into the atmosphere and celebrate those. So we need to, like Sister Keisha and myself, we always say this, do that research and emancipate these names, because we've been holding them, people's been holding these names hostage for so long, and it's time for everyone to be set free so that we could move forward as a collective.
Yes, love it, sis. Love it. Love it. You know, that's why I go to these museums and things like that, because, you know, the information is there. We have to reach and get it. And as Sister Marcia said, teach ourselves, let alone our families, right? We have to educate ourselves first, and then we can educate the family. So definitely do that. You know, also around the same time period, you know, I like fashion. You know, that's the industry I've always worked in. And so, you know, the fashion of the times, you know, what was it like? You know, Sister Marcia and I, we went to the Historical Society, and we got a great education from Not Your Mama's History on fashion of the times and what various garments represented your status in society. Right, Sister Marcia? So, you know, hopefully next time we go back that you guys will join us and get to engage in some of this history. But I want to go back to Frederick Douglass. Let's talk about some of the fashion that he was wearing and where it all comes from and what it all meant. We'll look at this video from the Met Museum, and we'll come right back.
Did you know Frederick Douglass was the most photographed man in the 19th century? Here we see Frederick Douglass's tailcoat, monogrammed shirt, and vest, along with accessories like his top hat, sunglasses, and this pocket watch, which was his first watch, and really important to him because it was a symbol of the fact that as a free man, he was able to control his own time. Given the ways that Black people were being depicted in the 19th century, Frederick Douglass's elegant appearance was as important as his righteous rhetoric.
Love it, love it, love
Did you
it.
know Frederick?
Love the fashion. You can follow the Met Museum for more information on fashion of that particular time. It definitely intrigues me because you have to think about, you know, he was, as they said in the piece, one of the most requested speakers. You know, I hate to parody Umar Johnson, but he was at that time, the most requested speaker in the United States. And so again, making sure that his fashion was on point was key. And I want to give kudos to his wife because she paid for it all. She paid for it all and made sure, that he represented very, very well. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the fashion of the time and what Frederick Douglass was wearing during the 1800s?
So I've seen various photos of the men of that time, and man, shoot, if men today were dressed like that, like people would probably clown them, right? Because our generation is stupid. We'll say that they're nerds or they're trying to act white and stuff like that. But it does say something to being well dressed and to being properly groomed, because I know back then they were not trying to show out ass breasts. Oops. Like, the people are today. Like, I don't know what the chest back is all about, but it's just ridiculous. So if I could channel myself back in time for those well-dressed men, I would definitely do that. Even the men of the 20s, I think it's just our recent era that men forgot to put up their pants and to, that it's okay to wear good clothes and not. Now, I'm not saying you can't be a youth too, right? Because there's something about being a youth, but there is a time and a place for things. And after 45, you should be a full-grown adult and not trying to be, a 17-year-old with no manners and no home training. So, but yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall to just, look at the ironing session. I think ironing is a skill that is forgotten, especially the way our past used to iron and had to iron, and they made sure that clothes stayed ironed for a really long time. And so
it's permanent press now.
Okay. So today we don't have that skill or that that joy in watching people with well pressed clothes.
I think some of us do. A lot of us do. In particular, and I have to give credit, Harlem has always been fly. Harlem has always been fly. In fact, most of your fashion houses send what they call street teams to watch people walk up and down the streets of Harlem. Just about every fashion company or every shoe brand send people to Harlem to watch people walking up and down the street. That's how great and how powerful Harlem fashion is. Whether you know it or not, yes, all fashion companies just about hire street teams to watch people walk up and down the streets of Harlem. Shout out to Brother L. Pollinator. What's good? What's good, brother? How you doing? Sister Marie, Be More Family. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I want to, because keep it in line with fashion. As we said before, a lot of people are purchasing their clothing from Black-owned fashion houses more now than ever before. One of my favorite is Actively Black, and I like this collaboration that they have with Black cotton farmers. So we'll play this clip and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Let's get it.
Very few things in the country are exclusively American made, but one Black-owned sports brand is showing what's possible. Actively Black is a sports apparel company founded by former NBA player Lanny Smith. He just partnered with a Black-owned and operated cotton farm, Bridgeforth Farms, for a new collection. It honors the fact that the industry was built through the blood, sweat, and tears of Black workers, but only a handful of Black-owned cotton farms remain. So I spoke to Lanny and Troy Bridgeforth about building a Black-owned supply chain.
I think there's so much power in that story beyond just being made in America, beyond the tariff story. There's also this story of reclamation for what that means, of a Black-owned supply chain from the seed to the stitch, from the dirt to the shirt, as I like to say.
We were approached with the opportunity to make this special Juneteenth collaboration. It meant a lot to us, and we certainly jumped at the opportunity. And it's exactly like we said, it's an opportunity for us to expand the Bridgeforth brand to more consumers, but it certainly is an inspirational story where we are able to show that we can control the supply chain all the way from the seed to the shirt.
And this extends beyond Juneteenth. This is just the first of a line that we hope to carry moving forward, where we're able to show, Black ownership throughout the supply chain. Now, everybody is welcome to wear the product. We don't discriminate on who wears the product. But ownership has been something that's very important to me, to the brand Actively Black, and to our audience. So that's what we're trying to show, is this unity amongst ourselves.
Now, the team behind Actively Black also says proceeds are put towards educational programs that support HBCU athletics and diversity advocacy. Lanny Smith and Bridgeforth family, I see you.
I love it. 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 Boy, I'm telling you, boy, now that's manufacturing. That's what we talking about. That's what we talking about. You can't stop this FBA train. You can't. And that's the problem, that they fear what reparations will do. We about that life. We are about that life for real. When you look at the time periods, whether it was 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, we've always been about that life. So this is great, exciting to see. In the industry, Sister Brooks says she was so excited to see this. Dr. Fillet say, yes, yes, yes. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know, for real, for real. She says, a foreigner asked me if I would pick cotton. I was like, shh, they got machines now. Hell yeah, but you got to pay me. Absolutely. Actually, true story. I used to work for a women's jean company in the 90s. Anyway, a very popular jean company at that time. But anyway, their factories were in Brewston, Tennessee. Brewston, Tennessee got maybe 3 Black people in it. Let me just put it that way. And it's nothing but cotton fields and warehouses and things of that nature. And so, I was with a group of people. There were 3 Black people in a group. Amongst about 18 of us all together, representing the corporate branch of the company. But anyway, so they, took us through the cotton fields. Now, of all these goddamn people, is 18 of us. Why the hell they come to me and ask me if I want to pick the goddamn cotton? I said, I don't want to pick the goddamn cotton. You pick the goddamn cotton. As a matter of fact, I'm your boss. So you go over there and pick the cotton and make sure the seeds is out before you bring it back over here. You see what I'm saying? So, they will try you. Brother Blak laughing, but they will try you with some foolishness. For sure, for sure. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the piece with Actively Black and the Black-owned cotton farmers?
You know what they say, make it Black and sell it to everybody. That's the power of industry. Just because, we say buy Black, that doesn't mean that that means that we're not going to sell to anyone that wants to buy. No, you're just supposed to, as a Black person, you're supposed to make an emphasis of buying Black. You're not supposed to say, oh, Hermes, and pass over an Actively Black. You're not supposed to pass over your own people to buy someone else's while someone else is not going to reinvest in you. So you're always supposed to consider yourself first. I do like that he is going into the real material aspect of it, no longer outsourcing that function of the distribution process, right? Going to a source. And it probably will take a little bit longer to get a full shirt, but at least, in about 5 years, we're going to have completely Black sourced shirts. And that's going to be absolutely exciting. I say 5 years, it might take less, but in that time, we always going to know that there are going to be outside sources in the manufacturing before it becomes 100% Black. But this is exciting times for our people. It would call all those other people that sold their businesses to really look at why they did those things, because all that capital that they got, I need to sell BET because yada, yada, yada. And now look at all the trash that is on BET, right? You could have really honed in on having quality programming for our people. We've had 20 years of trash TV, and it's time that we stop that too.
Well, some of it was good, sis, but I get you. She right. But some of it was good. Various things with Team Summit and the like. But when it comes to fashion, and as my Uncle Jesse in the chat says, now his 25-year-old grandson, you best believe it, Kobe be sharp. Even Pharaoh 7, he's sharp. You hear me? They don't play about it. So, I guess it's the environment that you're in. The environment that accepts certain things. But no, we don't rock like that. Go ahead, Brother Blak.
Do you have a retrospective, Sister Keisha, 125th Street in the 1930s and 40s, when everybody was on their Sunday best every day? Not every day, every day.
Yeah, even in Brooklyn, my grandmother, she dressed to the nines, even to go to the store. So, we come from, a family of dresses. My stepfather, everybody knows Sweets was dressed to the nines. My father, my biological father, Peanut, everybody know he was a fashionista.
Is that why you got into fashion?
Maybe spiritually. Actually, I went to school for law. I just ended up that way because I was presented with a great opportunity in 1990. Being a young 20-something-year-old at a chance to make 70 grand a year, I jumped on it. So that's what it was. But anyway, let's continue with our brother Larry from Actively Black on this piece, because you see the Juneteenth flag behind us, but people don't talk about Ben Hate. So let's get into it, and we'll come right back with our brother Knowledge Born Allah, so we can deal with this book series he got. Let's get it.
The colors, the red, white, and blue.
I'm glad you say that. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Lanny, because that's the reason. I said, hey, look, I knew about the Pan-African flag, and I knew there would be some controversy. There's some people who were saying, hey, we don't need another flag, no flag. I said, no, our ancestors made this country great. How's that one? They helped make this country great.
Facts.
I love it. Gotta love it. So now you know where this flag comes from. So never let anybody tell you anything different. That you know who created this flag and why he created this flag. And before the night is over, I will try to identify what the points are in the in the flag. We have our guest in queue. Shout out to Brother Bomani. That's right, United Front on the check-in. Those are my brothers from another mother. For real, for real. What up, Brother Bomani? Love to have you with us, brother. So, our brother, Knowledge Born Allah, a pioneer, actually, in this streaming game. A lot of the things that I do, the way that I ask questions and things like that, I learned from our brother, Knowledge Born Allah. Just watching him and how he moves, and I gravitated towards him early on. So when Brother Tad and myself decided to do this thing, I started to watch him intensely. Him, Doggy Diamonds, and a couple of others intensely because, I wanted to put my best foot forward. And so, why not watch the best, in my opinion? So that's what I did. But, building up a rapport with Brother Knowledge Born Allah has been a good thing for me personally and for Thorough Black Talk Worldview. He has completed an ebook series, and we've had him here on the program before, speaking about that ebook series. And I encourage all of you to purchase it. It is critical now because, our history, what little was taught in public schools are now being stopped. And so, what better way to re-amalgamate yourself in Black history than through ebooks that are palatable for both you and for young people who may be around you? But he has a new ebook series that's coming out, and this is the cover, Voices of the Diaspora. And so he's coming in and let us know about this new series, why he did it, what, motivate him to keep doing this and all of that. So without further ado, up on the Brooklyn Bridge, happy Juneteenth to our brother from another mother, Do the Knowledge Radio's very own Knowledge Born Allah. What up, brother? How are you?
Peace and black power to my warrior sister, cake fighter on the Brooklyn Bridge. That my Haitian revolutionary sister, Marcia, and our intergalactical mastermind, Brother Blak Smith. You understand what I'm saying? Black power, black love, black appreciation, straight black love. Let me say that because, we got that other monkey business going on out here. So I got to say straight black love, straight black power, and straight black family. I got, especially in this June.
Peace to the family, big bro. Thank you, man.
Honest to you, always. Honest to you. I love being here. I love being here on the thoroughest, blackest platform in existence. I'll say that again: the thoroughest, the blackest platform in existence. So if you got it, and you can get through the scrutiny of being thorough, and your blackness ain't in question, and you're allowed to talk what you're supposed to talk, you belong here. You belong here. So I'm glad to be here. I was listening to the intro, Sister Keisha, and you mentioned Doggy Diamonds. Doggy Diamonds and Black Dot are definitely two from this era that I take verbal cues from, that I studied from, under, and with for some time before I made my presence known. But I go back a little further. If I go back a little bit further, it was Gil Noble was the first person that I saw and I began to study from. I began to study from him. And Gil Noble and some of the other people later on, across from Gil Noble in the hip hop world, was VJ Ralph McDaniels. So between Gil Noble and VJ Ralph McDaniels, I got acculturated with a lot of the things in people. And as a young child, my mother took me to lectures, to college campuses. Everywhere she went, the land was sure to go. So everywhere she was at learning, while she was learning, I was learning. Even in her womb, my father and my mother, they would walk from North, where I'm from, to Brooklyn. Y'all heard me say walk, right? I ain't hear me say they took some transportation, and it didn't matter because they were on one accord in regards to building. In regards to building, in regards to healing at the height of the crack epidemic and what it meant and how it was ravishing our people. So from the heroin epidemic to the crack epidemic, and what it meant, and how they were actively in the street, on the Brooklyn Bridge. They were in the streets with our people, but they weren't in the streets with our people to our detriment. There's a distinction. So, book knowledge is great, but street knowledge is greater. I was in an interview last night, and one of the brothers said on there, he said, go touch some grass. Whatever you do, don't get caught up in this virtual space alone. You're in the virtual space, it's good. You might be able to do it. But I told him my perspective and philosophy with the virtual space is to be able to go see somebody. You understand? Like back in the day, we was on the phone, we had that, hey, baby, that. The phone was the internet. Okay, because we were trying to call you so we could see you. We wasn't trying to call you so we could call you, so we could call you, so we could call you, so we could call you. You understand what I'm saying? So we got on the phone to get into something righteous or something wicked, whatever we was on the phone for, but we was on that phone one way or another. But to be somewhere confined was a prison to us. If we snuck out the window. Whatever we had to do to get up outside, we was outside. You understand what I'm saying? We just were trying to be back inside unless we was bravehearted. So, I said all of that in regards to what it is because many of us have become preoccupied with one aspect of our socialization process.
Mm-hmm.
So we could be bogged down with just, oh, did you see that? 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 Did you see? Did you see him? Did you see her? Did you see them? Did you go someplace to see somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go someplace to see somebody? We used to send out all of these leaflets and things like that in the mail. But we had to call, especially our elders. We had to call. I sent it. I give it 3-4 days. I'm calling. Hey, Baba, did you receive, oh, I'm glad you called. I had some questions. All right. Now, if you call Baba, if you call Mama, and you wanted daytime, they wanted some time from you. So you are going to have to carve out that time. I always told people overseas that if you ask the elder how you doing, you better have 45 minutes at a minimum. You better have 45 minutes at a minimum because how you're doing is a representation of your whole family. So if you ask the elder how you doing, they're going to tell you how their whole family is doing, not just them. They're going to be like, my niece and that. You better be there and you better be attentive because you asked.
Hey, Brother Knowledge, let me say this real quick because you just reminded me of something. I knew a brother from Kenya one time, right? And he told me when he go home, he had to stay for 2 weeks because when he go visit people, they go kill a goat. They want them to sit down. They're going to get coconut trees down, liquor. They're going to ferment it right then. Man, you got to be there all day. You can't see all your people that way. So you just reminded me of that. Thank you, brother. Go ahead. Proceed, please.
I go through that every time I come home. They'll come ask you. They'll be like, hey, so how long you home for? They've been asking me that for 25 years. So that's what it is. And if you don't check in with somebody, I hope you can fight one way or another. Because somebody coming to see you one way or another. So yeah, definitely, it's time. It's definitely time. So that was my intro because I wanted to start there with my influences. So everybody that I named in my discussion was part of the influences that culminate up to what's being written. These are our voices. Our voices are our story. I said 25 years, and that's light work for people. 17 days ago, I had a birthday celebration, and people was hitting me up from 40 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like when I used to hear my mother say stuff like that, I'd be like, yeah, my mom, man, She swears it's up 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. Like somebody been trying to get with you for 30 years. You understand? Like, until you live it. And that's how is the life. The life is cyclic in that way where you begin to continuously go through cycles generationally. You was the young dude, and now somebody calling you old head and unk and all this stuff that we acting like we don't like. Like uncle isn't a universal term throughout the diaspora to describe an African male. But we get to these things and we act like we doing something new. They talking about, oh, this uncle and auntie is a universal, a cultural universal that exists. When a young man sees you and you're not his father, he's looking at you as a father figure. When a young woman sees you and you're not her mother, she's looking at you as a mother figure. So watch for in the community, either you can add to the community's excellence or through its detriment through your conduct. Not just your words. Your words are one thing, your conduct, it coincides. Because they say, do as I say, not as I do. And then they say, children do what they see, not what you say.
I like what you mentioned, Brother Gil Noble. Shout out to UAM again, who formed the Friends of Like It Is to try to preserve, if you will, the archives of the legend himself, Gil Noble, and being a part of that whole thing. But I want to get right into it, brother, because, you already have an ebook series out. And I want our people just to be reminded, if you will, of this ebook series real quick, and we'll come right back and discuss what you got currently on the horizon. Let's check this out, family. Now, what I like, go ahead, brother. You go through it. You explain what it is that we're about to see and listen here.
I like what you like, Sister Keisha. So if we go in there, okay, if you don't like it, I don't like it. Even if I did it, I'm like, I don't like it no more. Okay? You don't like it.
Easy.
All right?
Easy.
So,
let's check this out. Voices of the Diaspora, stories of Black entrepreneurs building a better future. This is critical considering the fact that we just looked at what is currently on the horizon with Actively Black and Black-owned cotton farmers. So let's play this and we'll come right back. Hold on.
In the 1300s, very wealthy brother. During the dark age of Europe was going through a dark age. Africa was thriving. It was the gold capital. Mansa Musa was considered the wealthiest man on the planet at the time. Mansa Musa had a very well-known pilgrimage to Mecca, where he went to Egypt and went to Mecca and went through Egypt, and he gave out so much gold, it threw off the Egyptian economy. In today's terms, Mansa Musa gave away what would be the equivalent of $100 million in gold.
Mansa Musa jewels. Ladies say I'm handsome, cool but cruel. This is not Langston Hughes buffoons. My scholastic aptitude is too maroon. Revolutionaries, gangsters, goons is true. Sands of time become sands of doom and gloom. If we don't take action, soon assume it's about to hit the fan. You can't perfume the room. Identify who is who. Just cause he black, he ain't black. God, who is you? Ambassador O for show. More soul to soul than the kosher knows. Make the Holy Ghost catch the rope of dope. Rope and smoke the Pope. I don't vote, no, I revolt. Reveal like Kaiser Sose. The unusual suspect spreading hope to all my folks.
I have here is a book on Black entrepreneurs from the past and present, along with a musical library that you can listen to as you're reading the book. One of the things that I like to do is, like, when I'm in the house cleaning up and, I have my grandson here, because children are like sponges. They will pick up some stuff when you think they ain't paying attention, but they do. And so I put it on and I put it on TV, and he's running around, playing or what have you, but he's picking up the lyrics, right? He's paying attention. And then every once in a while he'll stop. and he'll say, Nana, what's that? Or who's that? And then we'll have a discussion about what it is that Knowledge Born Allah has here. So again, it is palatable for everybody. And shout out again to United Front on that track that we just heard. Brother, what made you want to use this sort of technique as an inclusive with your ebook series?
This is one of the psycho-spiritual tools, warfare. So, you know, we get everything but African when we start talking about warfare, and when we start talking about psychology and philosophy, we go every place else. And those things work because they were built out of those people. So for all of the combat liberalism folks, and they start talking about Ho Chi Minh and all these other people, all of a sudden, we don't have no African scientists. We don't have no African philosophers. We don't have no African philosophy. We don't have no African pedagogy. We don't have any of that stuff all of a sudden. Then we get Greek. You know, we get all these other things. But I understand us from a diasporic perspective and a continental perspective. Both continents, right? So if we use the term like African American, they're like, what's that? You know, you're Africans and your nationality is here, right? So that's who that applies to. I'm not speaking for everybody because everybody has the right to self-determine. But for those who are African, of African origin, this is made for you. And those who are Black people that are here, this is made for you. Because the same things move us rhythmically. A cultural experience unites us. It brings us together. A culture has to have what they call holy days. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they have to have holy days. They have to have cultural observances that bring them together. So that volume, the first volume deals with entrepreneurship. The second volume deals with the Black woman. Who is the mother of the marketplace? What are you bringing into existence without the Black woman? What? Whom? You know, like, so if we aren't in the right space foundationally, this is this. So the goal for the book series was to write little snippets for our young people to our old people who don't like to read, who look at reading as a chore and a bore, to utilize color, light, sound, music, all of the things that are attractive to the eye. You know, the book, when people say, oh, there's no pictures in this book, and they say it like they created something, like they did something great. You just cut off access to the other hemisphere of your brain. So if you see this as an African, you see this as an American, either way you're going to want to see it. Whether you want to frown your face up at it or whatever it is, you see it and you're intrigued. Ball game. You see what I'm saying? You see this from a militaristic perspective. So if we look at Memorial Day or we look at a day like this, we know we come from fighters. We don't come from suckers. We don't come from suckers, no way, shape, or form. So the fight that is associated with it begins in your imagination, because this is a fight for your imagination. Warfare, they say, is a battle between hearts and minds. So if your heart and head is aligned, nobody can infiltrate. So pictorially, you see images that you might recognize and you might not recognize, but it's going to cause you to ask some questions. Oh, I can read. Well, who's that? Winnie Mandela. Who's Winnie Mandela? That's a whole stairway to heaven. You understand what I'm saying? Mackendall. Who's Mackendall? Oh, word? Mackendall did that? I thought that those people only did that. Jean-Jacques. Is that Dessalines? Who's Dessalines? Now, you want these young people saying that they Cardi B, or you want them to say that they Dessalines? They both have this access. Both of these things are presented to them, but who is governing their psyche? Who's ruling their head and who's ruling their heart? Is it you or our enemies? What are they inundated with? Improper propaganda all day, every day. So the difference between a liberated person, a free person, and a slave person is the books they read and who they associate with. So if they're reading our enemies' propaganda and inundated with our enemies' propaganda, are they going to be enemies to us or are they going to be allies to us? They're going to be enemies.
Don't mean to cut you, brother. I'm just looking at this page here with Patrice Lumumba. Earlier today, I had sent the team a documentary entitled Soul Power. It's a documentary recorded in 1974 about the musicians that took place, that performed actually in Rumble in the Jungle in Kinshasa. And, the documentary, if you all get a chance to see it, it is profound. If you can, watch it. When it comes to great musicians, you had Celia Cruz on the plane, James Brown, you had Bill Withers on the plane, you had B.B. King on the plane, and they had this whole jam session. I know brother seen it, so he nodding. But the whole jam session on the plane, and Celia Cruz takes off her shoe and she's banging the ceiling of the plane, and they have a whole jam session. B.B. King is playing the guitar, and it was just phenomenal. And I said to myself, this great cadre of musicians from around the world came to perform before the fight. But Mobutu had this whole plan in the background to help get Patrice Lumumba out of power so that he can take over and start the shenanigans. But, when you know history, family, when you see things like this from Brother Knowledge Born Allah, it triggers certain thought processes. That's why investigation and history are very, very important, because they allow you to connect dots. So seeing that documentary and reading this page, it's profound. So I would employ all of you to check it out at your own leisure. But I didn't mean to cut you. I just had to bring that point. It came to my mind.
We're working this together. I loved every bit of everything that you said, because we need reminders. We need reminders in our genetic memory, because our genetic memory is being separated from our current memory. Brother Blak Smith know about our cosmic memory. That's a whole nother thing, right? They working at it on all fronts. You understand what I'm saying? So every bit of it. So when you look at these pages and you see these people and you get to learn their names, like you're supposed to know the presidents of the United States and all of this other foolishness that they hit you with, right? They took the civics out the class and gave you social studies, but they ain't too social with their studies. Like we too social with our media. That's a whole nother tactic. But they're doing it in tandem. They're working together on all of these fronts. This is a militaristic, totalitarian, General Tecumseh Sherman, total war approach.
But, even looking at this, family, I mean, if you want to have a discussion with young people on what they're seeing right now with Ibrahim Traore, right, in Burkina Faso, you can open up this book and have a discussion on Thomas Sankara and connect the dots, with what you're seeing right now. So, it's very, very important that you have material like this so that you can see the whole entire picture. Go ahead, brother.
100%. And to hear him speak the way he speaks, and to hear him speak of his lineage and where he comes from, he's mindful. Some folks, they do the tongue-in-cheek type of situation. You know how many times they sought to assassinate the brother to no avail. These two men in particular on these pages, I literally put them together one after another because they exist as a continuity of one another. So we talk about Pan-Africanism, right? We talk about a repatriation model. This man, Haj Malik Al-Shabazz, Brother Omar Wali, affectionately known to the world as Minister Malcolm X, peace and blessings be upon him. And this man, Prince Hasliel ben Israel, peace and blessings be upon him, shared spaces together and shared repatriation plans together. Malcolm X gets assassinated in 65. By 1968, Prince Hasliel ben Israel and his brother, His Excellency Ben Ami, peace and blessings be upon them both, take a group of Black people from Chicago and other places to Liberia. How do they get there? A delegation that lived in Liberia heard that there was some Black people in Chicago who wanted to repatriate, and they came and got them. Why don't we know that history? Why do we hear all of these anti-African sentiments? And that's the ruling order of the day. These are Hebrew Israelites, right? They call themselves African Hebrew Israelites. So they leave Chicago. They go to Liberia. They're protected in Liberia and escorted into what is known now as Dimona, Israel, and they've been there for the last 60 years. So this repatriation model, that's one. There's a repatriation model from the Caribbean into Ethiopia. So when we don't have to start repatriation models from scratch. We got expats, we got repats. That's the continuity of history that needs to be shown properly. So if this is your goal, your aim, your objective, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Queen Nani, you got two relations of truth, of rule from the Maroons to the Mau Mau's. So we look at the Maroons, and the Maroons go from the Caribbean all through the Americas, all through the diaspora, back to the continent. Back to the continent. So when we look at these films that they use as propaganda tools to distort us away from our imagery, when I did an interview with our brother Mustafa Shakir, and I talked to him about his role as Bushmaster, I said, I knew that the show was over when you showed up. When you showed up, everything changed. It went from this almost black show with all of these integrationist type of tones and all this old other weird stuff to this is it. So this Maroon came and changed the game. This Maroon talked about Queen Nani in the back of the NYPD police car. He said they cut off their heads of their oppressors. So when I saw him, when I saw Capoeira, when I saw him, take the bullets, and they was talking about the magic and the nightshade, and they took him up into the mountains. And I was like, oh yeah, this show is over with. Who did he put on the wall when he took over the club? The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. All these things happen in succession over and over. The lady was talking about her ancestors, and they showed up in form, and they warned her that something was. I said, oh yeah, there's nothing else to do. So they made the two black men as if they were fighting against one another. Then they had a scene where they was fighting back to back. I said, oh yeah. They did too much too fast. If they would have rolled it out, in half a season here, another part over here, and it's spaced out, it would have still been on. But I was like, all right, if you're going to go out, that's how you're going to go out right there. What they say in centers, you know, we started the day off with a bang, or we started off with a misfire.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So these successions, when you're talking to the warriors in your bloodline, when you're talking to the warriors in your lineage, these are the type of pictorial images and mood and tone that's associated with your redemption. These become your redeeming tools. So don't tell me you love Queen Nani and your Queen Nani auntie, you ain't reverencing. I don't want to talk to you. I have nothing to say to you. I say you need to get that together. So if you telling me about the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he has a royal lineage. Where's your royal lineage? Tell me about somebody honorable in your family. Then we can agree. I love our people the way I do because of my family, not in spite of them. So I come from an honorable mother, an honorable father, an honorable grandmother, an honorable grandfather. You understand what a royal lineage is deep.
I think, brother, people don't take that seriously. I'm glad you reiterated. That's something that we talk about often on this platform. Get to know your story. Because I think, but I know when people study history, it becomes imaginable fantasy. And it can be quite dangerous. For example, when you study Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Granny Nanny, and the great work that the two of them did, where they came from, they don't honor them in that way. One of the things that I often point out, like here, even in the material that you've written here, we show them more love and honor than their own here. And you know, I personally look at Garvey in a different way. I don't look at him as he's taught to us, you know, this great man coming from Jamaica, doing profound things here in the United States on behalf of Black people worldwide. I look at his story, and that's why I say, you know, material like this is a great starting point for you all to connect certain dots. I look at him in a way that he admired us here. When you look at his writings, in particular during 1914, he talks profoundly about the work that we did here, and he wished that the people of the Caribbean had the conscientiousness and the consciousness that we have here, and they still don't. And I tell that truth, they still do not. When it comes to Granny Nanny, and I think I believe, and I will put my passport up against any Jamaican native, that I got more stamps in mine than you got in yours. So I know that place very, very well, and they don't honor her the way that they should over there. The biggest person that they honor over there outside of Norman Manley is Bob Marley, an entertainer, a biracial entertainer at that. So when I look at persons like Garvey and I look at his story, when you have to pick it apart, his admiration for persons like Booker T. Washington, and various members of the clergy here in the United States. In fact, he said, and I quote, and you can get it in his book, Selected Writings and Speeches of Garvey. He says that the only thing that's going to save y'all is if we marry y'all and help you out, because your conscientious isn't where it should be. But I wanted to bring that point out because I want our people to have a historical reference when they're looking at things like this. Read it and then investigate, right? Brother Knowledge Born is giving you a starting point on certain key points, and in the way he has it bullet pointed, it's easy for you to pull additional research to find out on your own. And you can pause this book at any time. So say, for example, you come across something here about Granny Nanny and you want to research a little bit further without losing your place, in the book, you can pause it at your own leisure along with the musical content that comes with this. I want to talk about, because this also is Black Music Month, Brother Knowledge, the music choices that you made for each of these selections. What was your thought process in doing that?
Excellent question, Sister Keisha. I wanted to excite the mind based on the subject matter. So, line one is about entrepreneurship, right? And everybody loves to talk about our glorious past. They love to talk about our glorious past. They'll be like, hey, you know, Black Wall Street. Hey, you know, Mansa Musa. Hey, you know, we built the pyramids. You understand? We go through all of those pantheons because we are disconnected from our families. We're disconnected from our families in such a way and dismembered from our families in such a way that we need to be reconnected. We need to be re-inspired, and we need to reconcile. So I took advantage of both. Our brother Omwali, Ambassador O, Doc Mokti of United Front, he has a song called Mansa Musa Jewels. And he utilized a clip from Tariq Nasheed's Hidden Color series. Everybody was running rampant at the time. So now he's giving us Mansa Musa Jewels now. We don't want to get into Mansa Musa. Don't start playing with me, fam. You understand? Like we start talking, some people's hearts gonna be a little bit broken. But that's the reason. If you're going to use that as a case study and you start to do your research, then you'll have your own heroes and your own heroes. And you won't rely on what mainstream media or any other media or medium other than your own discernment and your research capability. Because that's some of those things become a farce. You might be holding up somebody in high esteem that you need to throw in the ash can of history. You understand what I'm saying? So the music is not vile. No one's disrespecting you. Nobody's calling you the N-word or the B-word. Nobody's belittling you or betraying you. You pay people to call you the N-word in droves. I see you. You go to the comedy club and you got the best seats in the house for somebody to berate you and disrespect you. You got streaming services and you never late with your streaming service for someone to inundate you and disrespect you and dishonor you. So we have a gluttonous sort of relationship with our own detriment, and we aid and abet in our own destruction. So none of the imagery, none of the words, none of the music that was chosen was selected haphazardly. Every single thing that was placed there. In the first book, I have a video from my brother General Steele, half of one of the greatest duos to ever touch a mic, Brooklyn's own Smith and Wesson. When he heard what I was doing, he said, "Oh, I want to support you. Where can I send you some money?" I told him that his money was no good. I said, "Your voice was the thing that was a grand unifier for you and I. So I would rather have your voice if I had a choice." So I asked him to do a video for from the Razor. So again, this was a tool, a propaganda tool that was utilized to be able to enthrall the mind. As soon as you hear it, you get excited. Hopefully, if you're not excited, then this might be your this page you got on right here, Sister Keisha. You might be doing a little bit too much of this right here. You understand? You might be doing a little bit too much of this right here. So yeah, the music was insightful and purposeful, and this was one of my latest. This is a separate book from the Voices of the Diaspora series. So Voices of the Diaspora is a 10-part series, and I'm up to volume 7. I've released volume 7 today. But I wrote 2 independent books to accompany, my solar return, my born day on the 2nd of June. One is From Nameless to Knowledge, and the second is The Power of Black Family. And this is one that I released today. So again, we hear terms like Black Power is dead. Oh, there's nothing, we ain't got nothing to be proud of. We not our ancestors. We heard all of this stuff all over the years, right? So there's still power in family. There's still power in Black family. We just have to know where to go to extrapolate it, because everybody else tapped in it in some sort of financial, economical, or social, spiritual level. And we just like, it ain't nothing. We just out here becoming batteries for the artificial womb of the matrix.
I feel you, brother. Where can the people go to get this? Sister Tanisha said this should be on a shirt, but where can people go, brother, to get the series and what you dropped today right here? We got the exclusive right here for y'all on Thorough Black Talk Worldview. Drop today. Let us know, brother, where they can get the information or buy the book series.
They can buy the book series, volumes 1 through 6 on my website, but these other books, they have to get from me directly. So if they email me at dotheknowledgeradio@gmail and say that they want the books, I can send them the books. I actually sent Sister K Fighter all of the books. So she has all of the books with the exception of this one, because literally this one dropped today. I'm doing a special for all of the books, including the one that I dropped today. You can get all of these books for $80 until the end of June. You can get all of these books. By the weekend, I believe Sunday, the final book will be done for, well, not final book, but book 8. So that'll be 10 books, for $80 until the end of June. After June, I don't know what to tell y'all, okay? I don't know what to tell y'all at the end of June. Maybe y'all gonna have to know Sister Marcia or Sister K Fighting, like, yo, tell now, boy, I need a discount, fam. I gotta go school shopping for school supplies, And if you're here for the summer reading portion, and if you wanted something creative to do with your family, this is a great opportunity to do family projects, to go back through your history, to renegotiate and re-strategize. The Power of Black Family is an instructional manual for you to get your family on one accord. Get your family on one accord. You can go through the series. I didn't shy away from family trauma. I didn't shy away from any of those things that plague us. It's a holistic, short version of all these thousands of pages of books and places that we've been, speakers that we've been around our whole lives. So just in part for you to be thorough with your Black talk. You understand? So if you're going to be out here talking Black, like they said 50 years ago, and what was that movie? 5 on the Black Hand Side, talking Black, then you're going to have to do something more concrete to reach and teach and uplift your next generation. So if you can start a family blueprint over the summer in the midst of everything else that's going on, you can do that. You can do that, and you can have something of substance and of value to pass to your next generation as an inheritance.
Go ahead, Black, ask your question.
I'm sorry. I think I hit unmute on by accident. What I do want to say real quick, while I got the mic, is this: the movie my brother mentioned. I wanted to tell him he ain't know nothing about it, but I would have cut his wisdom. Y'all need to watch that movie if you don't know it or didn't watch it. It's a great movie. It's about family and how families have problems and get back together. So while the brother mentioned it, I thought about it and I just said, and for those of you who watched it when you were a lot younger, go back and watch it again. You'll find some new stuff in there you probably didn't realize until you hit, whatever age you at now, and then look back at it and be like, wow, I didn't notice that part at that time. So great. That's what I wanted to say. I'll give it back to you, Sister Keisha.
Got it. Sister Marcia, any final questions for our brother, Knowledge Born Allah?
Peace, brother. Thank you for joining us today. You gave us so many gems and jewels to think of. I truly don't have any questions. I think everything I'm going to discuss with you will be sidebarred for right now. But I really appreciate the dedication that you give to our people. And, like we were talking about earlier, when we give the information, but the information isn't golden until someone else says it's golden, is what holds us back right now, right? And so I would hope to bear witness where we no longer wait for someone to give us a golden ticket and open the doors ourselves so that we can be free and liberate our minds and liberate our families' minds, because this is the work that we're doing. We're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing it for the liberation of the future. And with grace, more people will think about doing those things. So thanks again for joining.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. Brother, Knowledge Born Allah, we definitely appreciate you, brother, for coming in and giving us the 1-2 on this series that you have. Again, family, you can reach out to him directly. Email is on the screen to get the ebook series. Do I have it correct, brother? The email?
Yes, you do.
All right. So you guys can get it. Everybody on Twitch, y'all see it on YouTube and also on Facebook. The email is available to you. And if you don't have a chance to write it down, you could definitely shoot us a message on Instagram or TikTok, and we will get back to you with the direct connect. He is the plug. Let me make that plain. He is the plug. So if you want it, come through Thorough Black Talk Worldview, and we'll definitely make sure you get that connect. Brother, let the people know where they can find you at on a regular, just so they can be in touch with what it is that you're doing, brother.
I put the link if they wanted to buy the book directly for me to get all of them via Cash App or through PayPal. I put the PayPal as well. I wanted to say about 5 on the Black Hand Side is one of my favorite movies, Brother Blak Smith, since, I made reference to it, strategically. I wanted to double down with the cultural aspects and the reason why, from a psycho-spiritual standpoint, you've never seen Glenn Truman be black again, and why you never saw Winona, even Janet DuBose, rest in peace to her, be black again. She sung the song "Looking Black and Being Black." She sung the Good Time song. She sung, the song from the Jeffersons. She was a very multi-talented, multifaceted, powerful woman, and we saw from that film very conscious of herself. So Stormy was out there doing what she needed to do, and Glenn Truman, young, socially conscious and aware. They was like, oh no, you're never getting this version. He went from that guy to the guy that was the colonel on a different world. He definitely was in a different world. I don't want us to miss those things that they do, how they do the flipping and the bouncing, okay? So he was out there in Cooley High. We got to look at all of the transformations. He was J.D. Walker and J.D. Walker's Revenge, right? We got to put all these things together on how they'll show you Billy D. Williams over here, and then they show you Billy D. Williams promoting Coke 45. I don't want you to miss the mind job that works in regards to these couple of black faces that we see on the TV. So again, this space in regards to the summer, using the tool of maximization of effort, we can begin to tell our own stories to our own children. You have all of the heavy lifting done for you, and you can grow as a family, everybody. If you don't have the articulation, you don't got time to do the research is done, the articulation is done. Now you can just think of how to be creative in your mind's eye to be able to put something together. You can make a puzzle, you can make a project, you can make your own paintings, you can do a drawing contest, whatever. All kinds of things to be done over the summer to bring your family close together. Use these other stories as motivation to tell your own stories. Use these stories of our ancestors. I hear the ancestors a lot. I don't even know who that is. I never heard of that, but I never heard it so much so. Because everybody got ancestors. Who you talking to? Who you talking to, fam? Okay? Get your hands out of my pocket. That's what
they're
you need
disconnected.
To be. Get your hands.
That's
right.
the disconnection.
So,
they have to put the duh in front of them because they don't want to connect with who their people are. So the ancestor, the Harriet Tubman. No, your family, you exist because there was someone in your line during the time of Harriet Tubman. Say that person's name. That is our ancestors. But as long as we remain disconnected, it's always going to be so far away.
He says, definitely, I agree with you. Family, we've come to the end of our program. Please check out Do the Knowledge Radio on all your streaming platforms. This brother, he don't stop. His channel runs 24/7. He just don't stop. Facts. His channel runs 24/7. So you can definitely check out information. Always on Do the Knowledge Radio. Brother, we thank you. We appreciate you and we celebrate you. For those of you, again, if you want the book, the email is in the chat, the PayPal is in the chat, and his Cash App is in the chat. And again, if you don't have time to take it down, you can shoot us a message on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, and we will definitely hit you with the plug right here. For sure. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Love you, my brother from another mother. All the way on the West Coast. Do the Knowledge Radio. Gotta love it, family. So, like I said, we come. Sister Donna said Glenn Turman was also married to the late Aretha Franklin. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. That marriage was crazy in itself. So you got to read up on that. There's a great sister, a good sister, I think. I think she's good. On YouTube, where she does celebrity stories, in particular Black celebrities, and her channel was Ashley Says So. I think she does great investigative journalism. Brother Knowledge Born is Norton, so I guess he also agrees with me. So check her out when you want to know about celebrity news. Yes, in the movie, yes. So check out 5 on the Black Hand Side. Those Black exploitation movies that came out of the 70s. Lot of stories, and the music was profound in those films. So check it out. Matter of fact, next week I will come up with a list that I think that you all should check out at your own leisure. We've come to the end of our program. Brother Blak Smith, your final thoughts and commentary. Let's get the people up out of here.
Yes, ma'am. Can y'all hear me? Okay, just making sure before I start talking. Yeah, profound show is always the energy I can only describe for my brother Knowledge Born Allah is beautiful. He came in, he lit the place up, and as fast he was gone. And I really miss that brother, and I hope he come on the show more often. Beautiful piece. I enjoyed it. You know I enjoying it when I shut up. So, beautiful presentation, my brother. I hope you're listening. With that said,
He's in the background.
oh, okay. With that said, we're living in some crazy times, y'all. We thinking there's going to be a lot of hurricanes, and instead it's volcanoes and earthquakes. We had a hurricane run through Mexico on the west side of Mexico. In other words, the Pacific side. I told y'all that ring of fire hot. And not to mention, don't sleep on the Atlantic because there's a lot of shit going on that side too. So don't rest up just because you're not, on the West Coast or more west than east. Idaho's having a lot of earthquakes, volcanic eruptions everywhere. There was a landslide in a place called the Dolomites. In English, we would say the Dolomites. It was a big landslide 2 weeks ago in Blatten, Switzerland. I mean, stuff is happening everywhere, not everywhere, everywhere. So y'all beware of the everywheres, because that where might be where you at. Might be in a warehouse. It don't even got to be in your crib. Anyway, with that said, war with Israel. Oh, come on. Every time you turn around, it's a new.
We'll get into that next week for sure.
Okay. I was just gonna talk around it and say that's crazy that popped off at this time. But like Bob Marley said in Redemption Song, they got to fulfill the book. It's gonna happen in Israel. Once this is over, it's gonna be a complete turnaround because, as far as the deep state is concerned, they the ones controlling it for the reptilians that look like me and everybody on this panel. So with that said, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do a giveaway next week of 2 of my books. One is the first one that was a semi-autobiography. I Ain't Perfect, but Take It From Me. And the second one is called Boom Bye Bye, Hip Hop Will Never Die. And we'll talk about it more next week. I'll get with Sister Keisha in the background. You can check me at Melanin Institute.blogspot.com. On Facebook, I'm Basil Medina. So if you want to get at me, that's the easiest place to find me. And you can see what I'm putting out, some of the stuff I talk on the show. With that said, I know Sister Keisha got to rise up out of here. And Sister Marcia got an African on the rise up us out of here. So with that said, peace and love. One love to the panel. Love y'all. See y'all next week on the Bridge. One love.
Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and commentary.
Peace, family. This was a fabulous show. Just remember to look for your ancestors, right? Who are they? Claim the time periods. And, this is what I do with the children, the babies that I work with. Claim the time period and look for people in your family. If you can't look for people in your family, imagine someone's name. Because I know there are so many people that I am disconnected with. So I imagine who they are in that particular time period, and I create a story about who they were, who I wanted them to be, even if they weren't that person, who I wanted them to be. And you know what? I believe in that other realm, they are claiming my story for themselves. They're like, yeah, I like that story for me. That's who I am. So if we use our imagination to its greatest power, we will be powerful. One last thing. I know Sister Keisha was talking about how, in Jamaica, Nanny and Garvey isn't as celebrated. But the thing is, even here in America, there are some names that aren't as celebrated if it wasn't for a federal holiday. If it wasn't for people continually to exalt their name, we wouldn't know some names. And the smaller circles know the names, but larger circles don't know their names, right? And so we must remember that the institution of capitalism continues to remove names from our mind, disconnects us, like Brother Knowledge Born was saying, from who our true heroes are, and present us with these heroes that we're saying, or we can say, and usually they're Urugus, so they don't really matter to us. So we have to claim our heroes in every which way that we can, and we have to make other people reclaim the heroes of their land, because they've just been disconnected. So with that said, the garden is flourishing. So food is coming. I got everything coming all at once. I don't know where to eat, how to eat everything at once. So it's about time that I start sharing. So with all of that said, may time flourish. And if it may not flourish, make it flourish. Time is on your side. Peace and Black power. Sis Keish.
Love it, love it, love it. My brother from another mother, Tad of the OG Wisdom Podcast, will be rejoining us next week, family. Again, shout out to our brother Bomani of UFG. He says, Wheeler County, Georgia, and Jamaica Maroon is my heritage. I know that's right. I know that's right. I know that's right. You know, brother, they don't honor them the way they should over there in Jamaica. But we're going to say that for next week. Tonight, we will close out with one of the greats. And something that he said, this speech was done in 1992. Some of us in the chat was there. But if you wasn't, here we go. Good night, y'all. We'll see y'all Black on the Brooklyn Bridge next week.
White folks are not like us. You are looking back to 1965 to try to figure out who killed Malcolm. White folks are already plotting 2050. That's a big difference. You cannot defeat somebody looking backwards when they're already plotting 2050. They already know, according to their methods, what you're going to be doing in 2050. Exactly how many of you will be here in 2050. If you want to undo your situation, you got to go to 2,100 right now and get ahead of them. If you are behind, you got to score more points. Am I right? In order to get ahead. So that's our predicament now. They are not looking backwards. They had already figured out 1992 in 1962. White folks are not like us. You are looking back to 1965 to try to figure out who killed Malcolm.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary military raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary